Hello and welcome to another story, where learning English becomes a journey through real life. Today, we step into the life of a man you've seen on movie screens, but today, we look beyond the lights and fame. This is the story of Humphrey Bogart, not just the Hollywood star, but the man behind the strong voice and steady eyes. He wasn't born a legend. He was a boy with questions, growing up in a home full of pressure and expectation. He made mistakes. He felt lost. He didn't always fit in. But somehow, through all the confusion, he discovered who he was, not by following others, but by standing apart. This story is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about finding your path, even when it's not easy. And it's about speaking with your own voice, even when the world tries to write your lines for you. So listen closely, not just to the words, but to the feelings behind them. Learn English, yes, but also learn strength, heart, and truth. Let's begin the story of Humphrey Bogart, the man who became more than a movie star. Humphrey Bogart was not born a star. He earned it, step by painful step, through rejections, failures, and a tireless drive to prove himself in a world that wasn't waiting for him. Born on December 25, 1899, in New York City, Bogart came from a background that suggested comfort and culture. His father, Belmont DeForest Bogart, was a respected heart surgeon. His mother, Maud Humphrey, was a successful commercial illustrator. Yet despite the trappings of privilege, Bogart's early life was marked by disconnection and emotional distance. His father's financial failures and alcoholism shadowed the family's reputation. The supposed security of an upper-middle-class upbringing was more fragile than it appeared. Bogart's path to acting was anything but deliberate. He was expelled from the elite Phillips Academy in Andover, Massachusetts, and failed to find direction. In 1918, during World War I, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy, serving with distinction but returning home with no clearer sense of purpose. He stumbled into the world of theater not as an actor but as a stagehand. At first, it was merely a job, a means to survive. But something in the raw energy of live performance, the illusion of transformation, began to stir something within him. By the early 1920s, Bogart began auditioning for small roles. His early performances were unremarkable. He was seen as wooden, awkward, and too upper-class to be believable in the tough guy roles that would later define him. Critics and directors overlooked him. He was typecast as the clean-cut juvenile lead, a bland gentleman in drawing-room dramas. He hated those roles but took them anyway. It was the Depression era. Actors weren't picky. He needed work, and he needed to be seen. Still, Hollywood wasn't calling. Bogart's breakthrough came not on the screen but on stage, with the 1934 Broadway play The Petrified Forest. He portrayed Duke Mantee, a ruthless gangster. The performance was intense, desperate, alive, because it was rooted in something very real: years of disappointment, bottled frustration, and the bitterness of being underestimated. When Warner Brothers adapted the play into a film in 1936, it took actor Leslie Howard's insistence to give Bogart the chance to reprise his role. The studio wanted a bigger name, but Howard refused to do the film without Bogart. It was a gamble, and it paid off. Yet even after The Petrified Forest, success wasn't guaranteed. Bogart spent the next few years stuck in supporting roles, mostly as gangsters or heavies. He was tired of being Hollywood's second choice, of playing the same one-dimensional characters. But quitting wasn't an option. He kept working, kept refining his craft. Then in 1941, everything changed. High Sierra and the Maltese Falcon were both smash hits, and audiences finally saw what Bogart had always known: he was different. He wasn't classically handsome, but he was authentic. He didn't emote, he simmered. He didn't beg for attention. He dared you to look closer. In 1942, Casablanca sealed his place in cinematic history. As Rick Blaine, Bogart gave the performance of a lifetime: cynical, romantic, wounded. The character mirrored Bogart himself, a man shaped by war, hardened by betrayal, but still clinging to something pure beneath the tough exterior. Casablanca wasn't just a movie, it was a culmination of Bogart's life, a declaration that pain could be power, and that authenticity always outlasts image. Through the 1940s and early 50s, Bogart became the defining face of American film noir. With films like The Big Sleep, Key Largo, and In a Lonely Place, he honed a persona that was complex, modern, and timeless. He wasn't a flawless hero. He was flawed and human. That's why people believed him. That's why they still do. Even as he became a legend, Bogart remained grounded in the lessons of his early struggles. He didn't chase fame, he respected craft. In 1951, he won his only Academy Award for The African Queen, co-starring with Katharine Hepburn. It was long overdue. But even as the world applauded, Bogart's body was breaking down. Years of smoking and drinking took their toll. In 1957, at the age of 57, he died of esophageal cancer. Bogart's legacy is not just in his films. It's in the idea that greatness is earned, not given. He showed the world that you didn't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just had to be real. Every time he lit a cigarette on screen, squinted into the unknown, or delivered a line with weary truth, he reminded us of the value of persistence. Humphrey Bogart did not simply become a legend. He carved that title out of failure, rejection, and raw grit. His story is a testament to the truth that sometimes the hardest roads lead to the brightest stars. If you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and share.